Let me ask you something. Are you comfortable right now? Think about it. You woke up in the same bed, in the same room, walked the same path to the kitchen, grabbed the same coffee, maybe scrolled through the same apps, watched the same kind of videos. And tonight, you'll probably repeat the same exact cycle again. Feels safe. Feels normal. Feels comfortable. But here's the truth no one likes to admit. Comfort is a slow death. It doesn't kill you in one day, in 1 month, or even in 1 year. Kills you quietly over time. It numbs your potential. It steals your hunger. It whispers in your ear that you're fine where you are, while silently burying the life you could have lived. Most people think danger is outside the comfort zone. They think risk, failure, pain, rejection, that's what's scary. But the real danger is inside the comfort zone. That's the dark side nobody talks about. The dark side of comfort zone is regret. This wasted years. This the haunting thought at 40, 50, 60 years old when you look back and realize you traded greatness for convenience. You chose easy over meaningful. And I don't want that for you. Maybe right now you're stuck. Maybe you've been dreaming about starting that business, moving to that city, applying for that job, writing that book, getting in shape, or finally fixing your life. But every time you get close, something pulls you back. That something is your comfort zone. And let me tell you this. It's not your friend. It's not protecting you. It's tricking you. See, the comfort zone is like a warm blanket. You wrap yourself in it when life gets uncertain, and it feels nice for a while. But stay wrapped in it too long and you suffocate. That's why people stay in dead-end jobs they hate. That's why people stay in toxic relationships. That's why people waste hours every night scrolling instead of building their dreams. Because comfort feels safer than change. But safety isn't the goal. Growth is. Let me paint you a picture. There's a man. Let's call him John. John works a 9-to-5 job. He doesn't love it, but it pays the bills. Every morning he drives the same route, listens to the same radio show, clocks in, does his work, clocks out, goes home, eats dinner, watches Netflix, goes to bed. Day after day, year after year, John tells himself, one day I'll start that side business. One day I'll get in shape. One day I'll move out of this city. But that day never comes. Why? Because he's comfortable. Fast forward 20 years. John is older now. He looks back and realizes nothing changed. He stayed in the same job, same town, same routine. And now it's too late. The energy is gone. The fire is gone. The opportunities have passed. That, my friend, is the dark side of the comfort zone. It's not just about staying the same. It's about losing your chance to ever be more. Do you know what the most painful words are in the English language? I could have been more. I could have chased my dream. I could have been great. But I didn't. Because I was comfortable. Comfort zone is not a place of peace. It's a prison. And the bars are invisible. So you don't even realize you're locked up until it's too late. So I'm asking you, are you really living? Or are you just existing? Because existing is easy. Living is hard. Existing means doing what's familiar. Living means stepping into the unknown. Existing is comfort. Living is growth. And the only way you'll ever know who you really are is by choosing growth. In this video, we're going to dive deep into the psychology of comfort zones. We'll uncover why they feel so safe, the hidden illusions they create, the silent price you pay for staying inside them, and how to break free. But before we go there, I want you to remember one thing. Every legend you admire, whether it's Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey, Elon Musk, Michael Jordan, or even your favorite artist, every single one of them had to make a choice. Stay comfortable or step into growth. And the reason their names live on is because they chose growth. Now the question is, will you? The dark side of comfort zone isn't about laziness. It's about lost life. It's about waking up at 70 and realizing your best years were spent hiding from fear instead of facing it. So listen closely. Your comfort zone is killing your potential. But here's the good news. If you have the courage to step out, even one small step, you can reclaim your life. So buckle up, because from this moment forward, we're going to expose the comfort zone for what it really is. A silent enemy. And I'm going to show you exactly how to break free. Let me ask you a simple question. Why do you think people stay stuck in the same place for years, even when they know they're unhappy? It's not because they're weak. It's not because they're lazy. It's because comfort feels safe. Comfort zone is like a soft couch. It welcomes you. It calms you. It tells you, stay here. Nothing can hurt you. And for a while it feels good. But here's the problem. The same thing that makes you feel safe is the very thing that's holding you back. Our brains are designed for survival, not success. That means your mind is wired to avoid danger, not to chase greatness. When you step into something new, starting a business, speaking in public, learning a skill, your brain sends alarms. This is risky. This is scary. Stay where it's safe. And so you retreat back into the comfort zone, back to the familiar, back to the routine. Your brain tells you it's protecting you, but in reality, it's trapping you. Think about it. Comfort zone is nothing more than your mind's defense mechanism against growth, because growth requires uncertainty, and uncertainty feels unsafe. Look around your life right now. You go to the same restaurants, order the same food. You watch the same kind of shows. You talk to the same group of friends. You follow the same morning routine. Why? Because it feels comfortable. But here's the danger. Your comfort zone is not where you grow. It's where you repeat. Every day you choose comfort. You're not building a new life. You're recycling the old one. Let me tell you about a young woman named Sarah. Sarah had dreams of becoming a writer. She loved words, loved stories, loved the idea of publishing a book. But every time she sat down to write, fear crept in. What if it's not good enough? What if people laugh? What if I fail? So instead of writing, she watched shows. She hung out with friends. She told herself, I'll start tomorrow. And every tomorrow became another excuse. Why? Because the comfort of avoiding risk felt safer than the possibility of failure. But here's the twist. While Sarah thought she was protecting herself from pain, she was actually guaranteeing a lifetime of regret. That's the trade-off of comfort. It gives you short-term safety, but steals your long-term joy. Do you know why comfort feels addictive? Because it triggers dopamine. When you eat junk food, binge watch Netflix, scroll on TikTok, or play video games for hours, your brain rewards you with tiny bursts of pleasure. You think, I'm safe. I'm happy. Life is okay. But deep down, you know something's missing. That emptiness you feel when you put your phone down after hours of scrolling? That's the proof. Comfort gave you pleasure, but it robbed you of purpose. And purpose is what makes life worth living. Let's be clear, comfort zone is not evil. We all need rest. We all need recovery. But when comfort becomes your lifestyle, it becomes a trap. Here's the truth. Comfort feels safe. Growth feels scary. Comfort feels easy. Growth feels hard. Comfort feels familiar. Growth feels uncertain. But let me ask you, which one do you think leads to a life worth remembering? In the U.S. Navy SEALs, there's a saying, get comfortable being uncomfortable. Why? Because they know growth only happens when you push beyond the limits of your body and mind. Think about Hell Week, the toughest military training in the world. Candidates go through 5.5 days with less than 4 hours of sleep. They run, swim, crawl, carry logs, endure freezing water, and push their bodies to the edge. Why put themselves through that? Because comfort creates average soldiers. Discomfort creates warriors. Now apply that to your life. Do you want to live like the average? Or do you want to live like a warrior? Close your eyes for a moment and imagine two paths. Path 1, you stay comfortable. You keep your routine. No risks, no changes. 10 years from now, you're in the same house, same job, same habits, same life. Nothing has changed. Path 2, you break free. You try new things. You face fear. You fail, you learn, you grow. 10 years from now, you're stronger, wiser, wealthier, more fulfilled. Which path feels safe? The first one. Which path feels alive? The second one. That's the difference between comfort and growth. So why does comfort feel so safe? Because your brain tricks you into believing safety equals happiness. But the truth is, comfort only protects you from growth. The comfort zone is like quicksand. At first it feels steady under your feet, but the longer you stand still, the deeper you sink. And one day you wake up and realize you're stuck. Don't let that be your story. Don't mistake safety for happiness. Don't confuse comfort with life, because the greatest risk is never taking one. Here's a truth most people don't want to hear. The comfort zone doesn't actually give you security. It only gives you the illusion of it. Feels safe, but it's not safe. Feels stable, but it's not stable. Feels like control, but in reality, you're losing control every single day you stay there. Comfort fools you. It whispers, you're fine. You're okay. You don't need to change. But deep inside, you know the truth. Comfort zone is not a fortress. It's a trap disguised as safety. Let's take one of the biggest illusions of security, your job. How many times have you heard people say, I can't take risks. I need job security. But let me ask you, what does job security really mean in today's world? Does it mean your boss will keep you forever? Does it mean the economy will never crash? Does it mean technology won't replace you? No, because jobs are not secure. Look at history. 2008 financial crash. Millions of people laid off overnight. Look at COVID-19 pandemic. Entire industries shut down in weeks. Look at AI today. Machines replacing jobs we thought were untouchable. So tell me, was that really security? Or was it just the illusion of security? Security doesn't come from staying in your comfort zone. Security comes from building skills, resilience, adaptability. Because the truth is, the most insecure place in the world is your comfort zone. And the most secure place in the world is your growth zone. Let me share a story. There was a man, David. He worked at the same company for 25 years. He never took risks, never started a side hustle, never upgraded his skills, because he believed in job security. Then one day the company downsized. He was gone. No warning, no backup plan. In that moment, David realized he had built his entire life inside a comfort zone that was never really safe. That's the illusion. The comfort zone tells you, if you stay here, nothing will change. But the world changes whether you're ready or not. Why do people believe comfort equals security? Because predictability feels safe. The brain loves patterns. Waking up at the same time, driving the same route, doing the same tasks. It gives your mind the illusion that life is under control. But control is fragile. The moment life throws chaos at you, a breakup, a job loss, an illness, that false security collapses, and suddenly you realize you weren't prepared. Because while you were busy protecting your comfort, you weren't building your strength. Let's break it down. False security, comfort zone. A paycheck that can vanish. A relationship that isn't healthy but feels familiar. Habits that numb you but don't grow you. True security, growth zone. Skills that no one can take away. A mindset that adapts to any storm. The ability to create opportunities instead of waiting for them. So ask yourself, are you living in false security or building true security? Think about Elon Musk. He made millions from PayPal and he could have stayed comfortable. He could have retired and lived safe forever. But he didn't. He risked everything on SpaceX and Tesla, projects everyone thought were insane. Was that safe? No. But today he's one of the richest, most influential people alive. Because real security doesn't come from staying comfortable. It comes from betting on growth. So let me ask you, are you clinging to a job, a lifestyle, a habit just because it feels safe? Are you telling yourself, at least I'm secure, while ignoring the fact that the world is changing around you? Because if you are, let me be blunt, that's not security. That's fear in disguise. The comfort zone sells you lies. It tells you, stay here, you'll be safe. But the truth is, you're never safe standing still. So don't mistake the illusion of security for the reality of growth. Don't wait until life forces you out of your comfort zone. Choose to step out now while you still have the power to decide. Do you know what's killing more dreams than failure, rejection, or even poverty? It's not lack of opportunity. It's not lack of talent. It's not lack of education. It's something far more dangerous, far more subtle, and far more deadly. It's comfort. Yes, the very comfort you chase every single day. Comfort is the silent tax you're paying on your potential. And the scary part? Most people don't even realize how high the price is until it's too late. The illusion of comfort. Comfort feels good, doesn't it? Waking up late, scrolling endlessly on your phone, ordering food instead of cooking, playing it safe at your job, saying maybe tomorrow to your dreams. Feels easy, it feels safe, and it feels harmless. But here's the truth. Comfort is not free. Every single moment you choose comfort, you are making a payment. Not with money, but with your time, your potential, your energy, and your future. Let's be brutally honest. Comfort gives you the illusion of security, but it's fake security. Because in reality, while you're sitting comfortably, life is moving forward. The world is evolving. People out there are grinding, learning, and growing. And while they're upgrading, you're standing still. And if you're standing still in a moving world, you're actually falling behind. The hidden costs of comfort. So what is the real price of comfort? Let's break it down. Time lost. Every hour you spend being comfortable is an hour you never get back. You think, it's just Netflix. It's just one more episode. But stack those hours over weeks, months, years, and suddenly you've lost a decade. And what did you get in return? Nothing. Dreams delayed, comfort convinces you to delay. I'll start tomorrow. I'll start when I feel ready. I'll start when conditions are perfect. But guess what? Tomorrow never comes. Comfort tricks you into pushing your dreams into a future that never arrives. Let's talk about real people. Take Steve Jobs. He could have stayed comfortable working for someone else. But he risked everything to start Apple in his parents' garage. He paid the price of discomfort, failure, rejection, getting fired from his own company. But that price gave the world the iPhone, the MacBook, Pixar. His discomfort built a trillion-dollar empire. Now look at Elon Musk. He sold PayPal and could have retired rich and comfortable. But he didn't. He risked everything on Tesla and SpaceX. At one point, he was borrowing money for rent. But he chose discomfort. And today, he's not just wealthy, he's changing the future of humanity. And then there's Oprah Winfrey. She came from poverty, abuse, and unimaginable pain. Comfort for her would have been staying silent, staying hidden, staying small. But she chose the uncomfortable path, facing rejection, criticism, and struggle. Today, she's one of the most influential women in the world. Now let me show you the opposite. Think about the millions of people who had big dreams in their youth but chose comfort. The athlete who stopped training because it was too hard. The entrepreneur who gave up because it was too risky. The artist who never shared their work because it felt too uncomfortable. You don't know their names. You never will, because comfort buried their dreams. The psychology of comfort. Psychologists call it the comfort zone trap. Your brain is wired to seek safety and avoid pain. That's why comfort feels so natural. But growth lives outside of comfort. When you challenge yourself, your brain resists, your body resists, your emotions resist. That's discomfort. But that's also the signal you're growing. Every time you step into discomfort, you expand your comfort zone. You build resilience, discipline, courage. But every time you choose comfort, your comfort zone shrinks. You become weaker, softer, less capable. That's the real price you pay. It's not just lost time, it's lost strength. The debt of regret. Let me hit you with something heavy. Research from hospice nurses shows that the #1 regret of people on their deathbed is not what they did. It's what they didn't do. They didn't chase their dream. They didn't take the risk. They didn't live fully. That's the tax of comfort. That's the bill you'll get later in life. Comfort hands you the check when you're too old to change it. You think comfort is saving you from pain today, but really, it's charging you interest. And that interest grows into lifelong regret. Flipping the price tag. So, let's ask the big question. If comfort is so expensive, why do people keep paying for it? Because they don't see the bill right away. Comfort gives you the pleasure up front and the pain later. Discomfort gives you the pain up front but the reward later. Here's the truth, you're going to pay a price either way. You can pay the price of discipline today, or you can pay the price of regret tomorrow. The first price is heavy but temporary. The second price is light in the moment but unbearable in the long run. Which one will you choose? So, ask yourself right now, where in your life are you paying the price of comfort? Is it in your health because you avoid the gym? Is it in your career because you avoid taking risks? Is it in your relationships because you avoid tough conversations? The bill is adding up. Every day you choose comfort, you're writing checks with your future. Stop paying for comfort. Start investing in growth. Because discomfort may hurt today, but comfort will kill tomorrow. Now here's the real kicker. If comfort is this expensive, imagine the wealth of growth, freedom, and success that lies on the other side of discomfort. And that's exactly what we're going to dive into next. Let me ask you something powerful. How many times have you told yourself, I'm fine where I am, when deep down you knew you were scared to take the next step? How many times have you said, I don't really want that promotion. I don't really care about starting that business. I don't really need to step on that stage. When the truth is, you were afraid? Here's the brutal reality. Most people aren't choosing comfort. They're choosing fear. Fear just happens to wear a mask, and the mask's name is comfort. The illusion. Comfort pretends to be your friend. It whispers, stay here. You're safe. You don't need more. You don't need to try. You're okay as you are. But peel back the mask, and what you'll find underneath is fear, fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of being judged, fear of losing. Think about it. When someone says, I don't like public speaking, is it really comfort they want? No, it's fear of embarrassment. When someone says, I don't want to start a business, I like my stable job, is it truly comfort? No, it's fear of risk. When someone says, I don't want to be in a relationship, I like being single, sometimes it's not comfort. It's fear of being hurt. Fear is sneaky. It disguises itself as logic, as reason, as comfort. And the most dangerous part? You believe it. You believe your own excuses. The hidden enemy. Fear has one mission: to keep you small. And it knows you won't obey if it shows up in its true form. If fear stood in front of you screaming, don't try, You'll fail. You might fight it. But fear is clever. It whispers in disguise. Just stay comfortable. No need to change. You're fine. And that's how it wins. Let's call it what it is. Fear kills more dreams than failure ever will. Because failure at least moves you forward. You try, you learn, you grow. But fear freezes you. Fear convinces you not to try at all. Psychology behind the mask. Why does fear disguise itself as comfort? Because your brain is wired to keep you safe. The human brain hates uncertainty. It hates risk. It wants predictability. That's why staying in your comfort zone feels natural. It's your brain trying to protect you. But in reality, it's overprotecting you. Fear isn't the problem. Everyone feels fear. The problem is believing the lie that fear tells you, that staying comfortable is the smart choice. Think about it. The first time you ever tried to ride a bike, you were afraid. But you pushed through, and soon riding became second nature. Fear told you to stop, comfort told you to stay safe, but growth happened when you ignored both. Steve Jobs, he was terrified of failing when he started Apple. But instead of hiding in a comfortable job, he embraced the fear. He got fired, ridiculed, rejected. But that discomfort built innovation that changed the world. Pushpin Oprah Winfrey. She could have stayed comfortable in her small town, never chasing bigger dreams. But fear was there. Fear of rejection. Fear of being too different. Yet she chose to face it. Today she's a media empire. Pushpin Elon Musk. After selling PayPal, he could have chosen comfort forever. But fear of failure didn't stop him from risking everything on Tesla and SpaceX. Comfort was an option. Fear was loud. He ignored both and chased growth. Now flip it. Think about someone you know who never chased their dream. Maybe it's a relative who always wanted to start a business but never did. Maybe it's a friend who wanted to move to a new city but stayed because it was comfortable. What's behind their comfort? Fear. Fear of failure. Fear of leaving the familiar. And now, years later, they're stuck. The silent killer. Here's the scariest part. Fear disguised as comfort doesn't feel dangerous. Feels cozy. Harmless. But it is the #1 killer of potential. Imagine this, you're in a room. Safe, warm, quiet. You stay there because it's comfortable. But what you don't see is that the door is locked from the outside. Years go by, and when you finally try to leave, you realize you wasted your life inside a prison called comfort. That prison was built by fear. So, how do you know if it's comfort or fear? Ask yourself, am I saying, I don't want it because I truly don't want it? Or because I'm scared I'll fail? Am I saying, I'm fine where I am because I love it here? Or because I'm scared of the unknown? Am I saying, I don't need more because I'm fulfilled? Or because I'm scared to try? Be honest. If fear is hiding, you'll feel it in your gut. That little tension. That little voice saying, what if? That's your clue. The truth about fear. Here's the truth. Fear never goes away. No matter how successful you are, you'll always feel fear. The difference is whether you let it rule you. The people you admire most, the billionaires, the innovators, the leaders, they feel fear too. The difference is they see through the mask. They know comfort is just fear in disguise. And instead of running from fear, they run with it. Because courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is moving forward even when fear is screaming in your face. So, I'll ask you again. Where in your life is fear masquerading as comfort? Is it in your job? Your relationships? Your dreams? What lies are you believing? Stop calling it comfort when it's actually fear. Call it out. Rip off the mask. Once you see fear for what it is, it loses its power. And here's where it gets inspiring. Because while fear disguised as comfort has trapped millions, there are also people who broke free. People who faced fear head-on, chose discomfort, and transformed their lives. And in the next section, we'll explore their stories. Real, raw, and powerful. Let's face it, we've all heard the theory. Get out of your comfort zone. Chase growth. Take risks. But theory doesn't move hearts. What really inspires us is proof. Proof that ordinary humans, people just like you, stepped out of the comfort trap and built extraordinary lives. These stories are not fairy tales. They are real. And they are living evidence that escaping comfort is not only possible, it's the only path to greatness. Steve Jobs, from garage to global impact. Steve Jobs could have stayed comfortable. He could have worked a safe job, collected a paycheck, and lived an average life. But instead, he chose the uncomfortable path, building a company in his parents' garage. At first, nobody believed in him. He faced rejection, setbacks, and even got fired from the very company he created. But here's the lesson. Comfort would have given him a paycheck. Discomfort gave him a legacy. Today, Apple is one of the most valuable companies on the planet because one man refused to stay safe. Lesson. When you trade comfort for courage, you create things bigger than yourself. Oprah Winfrey, turning pain into power. Oprah grew up in poverty. She faced abuse, racism, and rejection. Comfort for her would have been staying small, staying silent, never taking the risk of putting her voice into the world. But she didn't. She faced fear head-on, stepped into discomfort, and built a career that not only made her a billionaire but gave her influence over millions of lives. Lesson. Your past does not define your future. Escaping comfort transforms pain into power. J.K. Rowling, from struggle to storytelling empire. Before Harry Potter was a global phenomenon, J.K. Rowling was a single mother living on welfare, struggling to survive. Comfort would have been giving up, saying life is unfair, and never finishing her book. But she chose the uncomfortable path of writing every day, facing rejection after rejection. Publishers turned her down 12 times. But she refused to stop. Today, her books have sold more than 500 million copies worldwide. Lesson. Discomfort is the birthplace of resilience. And resilience creates empires. Chris Gardner, The Pursuit of Happiness. Chris Gardner's story is raw. He was homeless, raising his little boy, sleeping in train station bathrooms. Comfort for him would have been accepting defeat. But he didn't. He risked everything for an unpaid internship in a stockbroker firm. He faced hunger, humiliation, and exhaustion. Yet he kept going. Today, he is a multimillionaire entrepreneur, motivational speaker, and the inspiration behind the movie The Pursuit of Happiness. Lesson. Comfort will tell you survival is enough. But stepping out of it can take you from survival to significance. Ordinary heroes. It's not just celebrities. Think of the immigrant who comes to a new country with nothing but a dream. Instead of staying in the comfort of familiarity, they risk the unknown. They build businesses, raise families, and contribute to society in ways that change entire generations. Think of the single mom who goes back to school in her 30s, juggling kids and work. It's not comfortable. It's messy, exhausting, and uncertain. But it leads her to a better career, more security, and a brighter future for her children. Think of the college dropout who dares to start something new when everyone else says, stay safe, get a degree. Some fail, but others change industries forever. Lesson. Escaping comfort isn't reserved for the chosen few. It's available to anyone willing to pay the price. Why these stories matter. Here's why these stories hit so hard. Because they prove one thing: you have no excuse. These people weren't superheroes. They were ordinary humans with fears, doubts, and obstacles. The only difference is that they refused to let comfort be their prison. And that's the challenge for you. What story will you write? Years from now, will people tell the story of the person who stayed comfortable or the person who broke free? Now that you've seen the power of escaping comfort through real lives, the question is, how do you do it? How do you step out of the comfort trap and into the growth zone? That's exactly what we're going to explore next. How to step into growth zone. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff. Behind you is your comfort zone, safe, familiar, predictable. Ahead of you is the growth zone, unknown, uncertain, and yes, terrifying. But also, ahead of you lies the life you've always dreamed of. Most people spend their lives standing at that edge, staring into the unknown, paralyzed by fear. But champions take the step, not because they're fearless, but because they understand one truth. Growth only happens outside of comfort. So how do you step into the growth zone? How do you break through the resistance and move toward the life you were meant to live? Let's break it down. Step 1. Recognize the enemy, your comfort zone. You cannot leave what you do not first recognize. Too many people live trapped without even realizing they're trapped. They confuse routine with stability. They confuse comfort with peace. Your first step is awareness. Ask yourself, am I growing or just existing? Am I challenging myself daily or repeating yesterday again and again? Am I choosing what's easy or what will make me evolve? If your answer leans toward repetition, safety, and predictability, you're in the comfort zone. And that's okay because recognizing it is the first victory. Step 2. Shift from fear to curiosity. The unknown feels scary because your brain is wired to protect you. But here's the trick. You can reframe fear into curiosity. Instead of thinking, what if I fail? Ask yourself, what could I learn? Instead of, what if they laugh at me? Say, what if I inspire them? The energy of fear and the energy of excitement feel almost the same in your body. Your heart races, your palms sweat, your mind sharpens. The difference is the label you give it. Reframe fear into curiosity, and suddenly, the unknown becomes a playground instead of a battlefield. Step 3. Start small, but start now. Growth doesn't demand giant leaps on day 1. It demands movement. You don't need to quit your job tomorrow or launch a billion-dollar business overnight. Growth begins with small steps. Wake up an hour earlier to work on your dream. Join that class you've been postponing. Speak up in that meeting where you usually stay silent. Approach that person you've been avoiding. Each small act of courage builds momentum, and momentum creates transformation. The key is not speed, it's consistency, because small daily steps compound into massive breakthroughs. Step 4. Redefine failure as feedback. One of the biggest roadblocks to the growth zone is fear of failure. But here's the secret. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of success. Think of failure as feedback. Every mistake is just data. It's the universe handing you the exact lessons you need to adjust and improve. The growth zone is not about being perfect, it's about being willing. Willing to stumble, willing to fall, willing to look foolish, if it means moving closer to your destiny. When you stop fearing failure and start using it as a teacher, you become unstoppable. Step 5. Surround yourself with growth-minded people. You can't step into the growth zone alone. Your environment matters. If you surround yourself with people who only value comfort, who settle, who discourage ambition, you'll slowly adopt their mindset. Embrace discomfort as your new normal. The growth zone isn't about reaching one milestone and stopping. It's about continuously expanding. That means learning to get comfortable with discomfort. Every time you feel stretched, every time you feel nervous, every time you feel not ready, that's the sign you're exactly where you need to be. Discomfort means you're evolving. So instead of resisting discomfort, welcome it. Thank it. because it's proof you're alive, proof you're growing, proof you're moving closer to the person you were designed to be. Step 7. Anchor yourself with vision. Here's the truth. Growth is hard. There will be days you want to run back to comfort. That's why you need a vision. Something so powerful it pulls you forward when everything else pushes you back. Ask yourself, what kind of life do I want to create? Who do I want to become? What legacy do I want to leave? Your vision is the fuel. It gives meaning to the struggle. Without vision, discomfort feels like pain. With vision, discomfort feels like progress. Step 8. Celebrate the process, not just the outcome. Too many people quit because they only celebrate the big wins. But the growth zone is about progress, not perfection. Celebrate every small victory. You spoke up when it was hard? Celebrate it. You faced rejection but tried again? Celebrate it. You pushed past fear even for 10 seconds? Celebrate it. Celebration rewires your brain. It tells your subconscious, this is who I am now. And soon, growth becomes part of your identity. The invitation to step forward. So, how do you step into the growth zone? You start by recognizing the cage of comfort. You reframe fear into curiosity. You take small, consistent steps. You see failure as feedback. You surround yourself with growth-minded people. You embrace discomfort as a friend. You anchor yourself with vision. And you celebrate every moment of progress. The growth zone isn't a destination. It's a lifestyle. It's a choice you make every single day. To trade safety for significance. To trade comfort for courage. To trade what is for what could be. The question is no longer whether the growth zone exists. It's right in front of you. The question is, will you step in? Because the life you dream of is not waiting inside your comfort zone. It's waiting beyond it. And the only way to claim it is to step forward today. So, don't just listen. Don't just agree. Take the step. Right now. The rewards beyond comfort. When you step outside your comfort zone, life doesn't just change. It transforms. You gain confidence because you prove to yourself that you can. Confidence isn't built by staying safe. It's built by doing what scares you. You gain new opportunities. Doors that were invisible in your comfort zone suddenly swing open. The people you meet, the skills you build, the experiences you collect, they all shape a life bigger than the one you left behind. You gain resilience because every challenge you face outside comfort sharpens you. You stop breaking under pressure and start thriving in it. And most of all, you gain fulfillment. Comfort can keep you alive, but only growth makes you feel alive. That deep sense of pride when you know you gave your best, that joy when you achieve what once felt impossible, that is the reward. The rewards of growth are waiting. A stronger you, a braver you, a fulfilled you, but they're not in your comfort zone. They're on the other side of fear. So break free. Step forward. Claim the life you were meant to live. And if this message spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that subscribe button right now, because this channel is here to remind you every single day that you were not born for comfort. You were born for greatness. Break free today. Your future is waiting.